Hi, thanks so much for joining us again for the Living Beyond the Numbers podcast. I'm your host, Jude. I'm here with our Director of Positivity, Caleb Arringdale.
Hello.
And today we've got a couple special guests from our team, our Client Service Associates team. So we've got Jenessa Ritchie from our Quad Cities
Hi.
office.
Hello, how's it going?
Perfect. And coming to us from our Anchorage office, we've got Krystal Gilliam.
Hello.
Hey, great. Well, thanks so much for joining us, y'all. I'm really excited for clients to hear just about the humans that, go behind so many of the things that are happening for them at the planning center. And so they'd love to know, from y'all, if you want to share just a little bit, what's your role like? What's your day like for you as you work for the firm?
Yeah, I would say for me, it can be a lot of moving parts. It can be answering phone calls, doing a lot of administrative needs, and also a lot with office work. So, ensuring when everyone comes in, everything's ready to go for clients upon their arrival as well.
Definitely being in a smaller office, I don't have to deal with too many, in-person clients, but making sure that I'm doing everything for the planners that I need to do, answering phone calls, doing little projects that might be just something that I was assigned to do or found to do. It's kind of almost like keeping your head on a swivel, but swivels on like 3 different monitors. So
Yeah, that's right. We were talking about notifications earlier, and I imagine your roles, there's a lot of things pinging at you on the computer. So tell us a little more about what are some of those notifications? What's happening?
yeah, I mean, a lot of phone calls, get emails for every meeting that's scheduled, you get emails for client service emails, you get it for quite everything. Then making sure that you're doing your tasks still, there's quite a bit.
Yeah. And yeah, with planners are in meetings. A lot of things can come up last minute. So hopping and moving direction and assisting with that. So and phone call, rescheduling or scheduling clients. So that can take place as well.
And Jenessa's started in January, which is tax season. And during tax season, she becomes an honorary member of our team. So her workload goes from just the normal stuff she does until we give her about, anywhere from 10 to 20 hours a week of additional tax tasks to do as well. So that gets real busy.
Yeah, that was fun. I thought that was normal, but it's just for a certain period of time. So
Yeah, well, what are some of those other tax tasks? I have a sense of that, but yeah, share with our listeners.
yeah, well, when it's putting the returns together, so making sure it's in the correct order, and calling the clients to let them know they can pick it up, and walking through the transmittal sheet with them. So it's good for me to understand what's going on with their situation as well, so I can help explain it to them or know who their tax advisor is. So if they have questions, reach out to them. So
It's interesting, half of our senior planners are at the Quad Cities office, and two-thirds or most of our tax team, I guess 3/4 of the tax team is in that office as well. So it's a much bigger space than, say, our New Orleans or our Anchorage offices. But you got a lot of those things that are happening in the when it comes to the spring of every year. So I guess tell a little bit about what do you think service means when you're working with successful families? What do you feel like that means for each of you?
I feel like it means more than just being a transaction relationship, but more getting to know them and making sure we can create a space for them to feel heard and understood. And I really like the quote, it's not what we said that makes an impact, but it's really how we make them feel. So to me, that is what energizes me to get me going to start my day when assisting with clients.
I definitely think that like client service goes far beyond just doing like paperwork or answering phone calls, but also understanding clients' goals. So with like successful families, service is anticipating their needs and personalizing emails. A client might get married and you want to send them a congratulations of them getting married. And so just being more personable than just, as Jenessa said, having a like transactional relationship.
Yeah, I think it's easy for someone to think that the person who's answering the phone is simply like the person who sends the call to the right person, right? That you're just like the viaduct to another person. But for you guys, you're able to answer most of those questions yourselves. I mean, obviously, sometimes you send it off to a planner or tax person, whatever. But so much of it, you guys are very involved in the client's transactions. You know a lot about the client's lives and are able to handle a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. So I was talking with a friend of mine who's an advisor, and he works with kind of a certain kind of families. And we were talking about our work, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know if I'd want to work with like wealthy families like you do." I was like, "Well, why not?" He's like, "Well, because I just don't know about those kind of people." I was like, "I don't know. Like, we work with nice people that have complicated problems. Like, I don't think I don't feel like there's any difference between they're humans. They do all the same things that we all do." And so I'm curious to get your thoughts. Like, was there anything that surprised you when you started working with us and we work with some, higher income or higher net worth families? Was there anything that stood out to you or that surprised you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think seeing them as people, kind of humanizing them, really makes a big impact. We all deal with very similar things, like relating to each other as humans.
I do agree. It's like how human their challenges are with them experiencing things like decision fatigue and having family stress. A lot of it is they value simplicity and reassurance over complexity, just like everyone else. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're better than anyone. They have everything very similar to what we have every day.
Yeah, I'm actually writing that down. There's value, simplicity, and reassurance because I should put that on the website. That
Yeah, that
is,
was a great line.
yeah, very well said. Um, so, are there, you see clients that are contacting you? Like, what are some things they struggle with that kind of that you wish was you could tell them? Like, no, that's normal. Like, I know people apologize when they call. Like, what do you hope they know? That's like, oh, this is part of what happens, and it's what we're here for.
Sometimes clients can struggle with the technology side of our, website or logging into their accounts through our website portal or working with their bank accounts. So, I mean, I know in my personal life, I have issues with that sometimes too. So reaching out is a-okay, and we really encourage people to reach out to us because we can help them on our end.
That's been a trend the last couple of conversations. Like Blake mentioned the same thing, that one of the biggest calls we have is about technology, right? We have a lot of clients who are extremely competent and are able to do really great things. And then they have a new technological system they really struggle with. And so it's good to know that it's not a problem to call. That's fine.
Yeah, well, and I think it happens to all of us, no matter what. I try with password managers and everything else, and I know for one of our custodians, I always have to get my password reset. It seems, and so it's a very human thing. We all are dealing with these complex systems, and it's going to be part of the process. But we're here to help.
So both of you prior to this were in some sort of, service related industry or different types of industries. But what do you think is the difference between like transactional and like relational service? And how do you see that happens here at the planning center?
I feel like for here, um, we tend to notice more of like the small things with clients, even if it's not maybe like the biggest thing that they think of. They got a new house or something like that. We'll notice the little things of they had a wedding anniversary or send them a card. We send them holiday cards, birthday flowers in different locations, and chocolates for the birthdays. And so I feel like we definitely make it seem more of like a relationship, like a familiar relationship, more than just a transactional one. And make sure that all the clients are seen as like equally seen, then maybe one might feel like they're seen more than the other one.
Yeah, I agree with that. And um, just checking in on them, we want to have a continuous relationship with our clients. So rather than when, oh, they have a review coming up, let's try to contact them. It's keeping up with what they have going on in their life we want them to trust us. So when they have those conversations with our planners, we can really be there in times of need, or just to check in and make sure they're doing okay.
Yeah, well, and so one thing I know that clients will hear from you regularly about is, if they've messaged us about a transaction, often y'all are the ones who are calling them to, confirm that and make sure that, those things have happened. Um, Maybe just explain a little bit about why that's important and for their safety. Why do we take that extra step just to make sure that that we're contacting them?
I mean, with AI nowadays, it's so important to make sure that you're talking with the correct person. There's been instances of, there's companies that use AI to answer phones, and it might be not everything you hear, and it's not always reliable. And also just making sure that you have the correct information to verify it's the correct person, just for their security and their privacy. Just to make sure that someone didn't get access to their email and requested money to be sent when it was not them, and they need to make sure that everything is all secure for them.
Yeah, sometimes it's those small things, calling to confirm their phone number if they get a new phone number, calling to confirm their new mailing address. We need to know those things, but we want to call and verbally confirm with them. So, it might be a quick 2-second phone call just to verbally confirm, but it really gives them comfort to know that they're being taken care of. And a lot of them say, we just appreciate the call. So they know it's us and know that they're in good hands.
What other behind the scenes things happen that maybe clients don't even realize that the two of you are handling for them?
There's a lot going on in the background. Like once we process a distribution, we're confirming that it's processed on our end, that it's completed, just to make sure that everything is set, that the correct money was sent to the correct place, and that it is processed. And a lot of times we'll reach out to them to let them know, even if they don't necessarily recognize that. And just making sure that everything is all set for them. I know certain locations that when clients come in and they know that they really like certain tea, we make sure that tea is there and things like that, just to make sure that everyone is getting what they deserve out of us.
Yeah, sometimes I've been learning their music preferences as well. So in our office, we'll play some background music, and it's been fun getting to learn what some of the clients enjoy and don't enjoy. So keep that as a note myself. And, we do a lot of processing paperwork, a little bit of account maintenance. We assist with those on our team and fielding inquiries that we find to the planners or to those on the operational team. So, yeah, a lot of behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's so great. I think the anything we can do to help people feel a little seen is so important because we're all largely not seen. I think in our regular lives, except for maybe by the AI systems and things that are listening to us. But paying attention is it's a rare commodity these days.
Yeah, I do appreciate all the time that you'll put into updating notes. For instance, the way a client pronounces their name, right? Or perhaps that favorite beverage or that favorite, even that way of understanding something. Like this client prefers stuff done in this way. All those notes that you basically keep updated really helps the rest of our team know, how to best deal with clients and how to make them as comfortable as possible.
So, what do you find that families we work with? In those conversations, what do you find that they worry about? Do you have any insights on things that give them concern?
I think recently we've had a lot of loss of loved ones. So I know that is, in case of an unfortunate event where they're going to be putting their money. So how important it is to have all of our affairs in order. And that can be something that I know a lot can worry about. And, stock markets, they'll change. So we'll get phone calls. Hey, I heard the latest about the stock market. Can I talk to my planner? Just to get some emotional
Support.
Right. But I did think, as you said, satisfaction. I was like, no, that's a great way of thinking about it. Right. So, but yeah, absolutely.
I would say also a lot worry about like privacy.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, if a client got an email saying that a password might have gotten compromised, they reach out to us just to see what we can do about it. And we use, um, a secure way to send documents, a secure way to send their password if it's a temporary password, so then they can create their own passwords. So a lot about privacy, also being financially secure, especially with their families, of making sure that in the future that everyone is all set and that they want to make sure that everyone is set up for success.
Based on what you just said there, how do you create space, or how do you think the planning center creates space for their clients to express those fears and to get help with those fears?
One thing I really appreciate is um, they're not calling in and hearing an automatic machine, but they are talking to typically Krystal or I when they first call in. So we I like to see how they're doing, and if their planners are busy, because typically they want to talk to their planners. I try to check in and see if there's something I can help with them with, or even if it's just talking about an exciting thing in their life that they're going to do over the weekend, or concerns they have.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a lot of just listening to the clients and making sure that they feel heard, especially when they mention small things of we're planning on moving at this time, we're adopting a dog and things like that, of checking in with them of like, how is that dog doing? I'm so happy you got the dog. I just It definitely makes them feel like they are being listened to and that they can trust us with things if we're checking in with them.
Just made me think when clients also come in the office, they might be older clients and they don't get to talk to people all the time. And some of our clients live in nursing homes. I'm not sure if we can say that, but
Assisted living? Yeah.
yeah, assisted living homes. So they really, this can be an event for them to come and talk to people and catch up. So I really try to take that time with them.
Yeah, and I really appreciate the follow-up you both have. I know when I'll get notes from you, for instance, like a client called, maybe I was in another meeting, but hey, this client called, can you call them back? Great. That afternoon or the next morning, hey, did you follow up with this person? Which is fantastic. I mean, I usually have, but not always. So just the follow-up you put into those things, making sure that clients' needs are being taken care of is really great.
Yeah. So if you were going to give some advice to a family and said, hey, you want to really get like the most from like your relationship with your advisory firm, what would you tell them to do? What would you invite them to do to have the kind of relationship that they think they want?
I would definitely say to be open and communicative. With like the more you share of things like goals or frustrations, the better that someone can support you. Definitely viewing that relationship as like a partnership and not transactional, and just making sure that there's trust and transparency in order for everyone to get the best out of it.
Yeah, I agree. Communication's big. And I think at the beginning it might be hard because you're still learning each other, but having that continuous conversation, whether it's through the phone or emails, um, I think it's so important to have that relationship build over time and get to know the people that are working with you in your finances, because they'll really make you be successful. So.
For the two of you, how has your financial knowledge increased since working here? Because neither of you have been working here that long. So how has that changed?
Yeah, I mean, I've learned a lot. I've kept a list of things that I didn't know about, and I've asked Mike, the planner that I work with here, all the questions I can. And, he would have a meeting with me once a week just to check in and be like, hey, have you written anything down? What do you not know? Which obviously started off with a very long list of things that I did not know. But it's slowed down, at least. I know quite a bit now. Obviously, I don't know everything. But it's definitely interesting to learn. And, a lot of clients also don't know as much as I do, and they probably some know more than me. So it's definitely interesting to see kind of um the differences and like the variety of the knowledge here.
Yeah, I second that. I love it. I don't have a financial background. I do have an administrative one, but that was one thing working at the planning center I was really excited to learn about. Um, Financial planning, investments, and working along with that team has been really valuable. And definitely makes me think about my family and how we're set up and how um, what can I do better to be more successful in that area as well. So it's just nice. The planners are always very happy to help answer and give me advice as well.
Yeah, we do love talking about the details. So if any of us, if you ever have questions about all that stuff, we're more than glad to talk about that. Um, wow. Well, yeah. So I mean, we're kind of coming up on time a little bit, and so we have some rapid fire questions we generally like to ask our guests here. First, and my favorite is, what is your favorite animal?
For me, I've always liked polar bears. Other than just being adorable, I think it's because like they're very protective of their families and nurturing, but yet still very powerful and striking. So like baby polar bears, adult ones, but
I took a quiz about this before because I did not know my favorite animal. I feel like it's a very hard question. There's too many to choose from. But the quiz did say that my favorite animal is a dolphin. So, but I do think it's true. I think they're really cheerful and they have so much energy.
That's fantastic.
So far, the people at our firm who have said bears are like over 6'4", and Jenessa's tall, but she's not 6'4", so I like that. So that was great.
Oh, fantastic! Thank you, guys. So how about money? Like, so what do you think is the best money you've ever spent?
I would say the best money I ever spent was a limited edition version of my favorite book. It is my favorite thing I own. I love it. It is up for display for everyone to see, and I will talk to everyone about it when they see it. And that's my favorite thing I've ever spent money on.
So what's the book?
The Red Rising series.
I know you love books. I have no idea about the series, so that's probably like a different podcast episode, though. I don't think, probably don't have enough time to get into. I'm sure you have lots to say about it, right?
Of course.
so recently this year I went to the Red Rocks in Colorado, and I've always wanted to go there. So I would say that was money spent well. Went to a concert, and just being surrounded by the music and the mountains atmosphere was just very immersive and really amazing.
My favorite question here. If you had to go buy some happiness, what would it be? How much would you spend?
Mine might just be super simple. I love a good cup of coffee, so I feel like I would grab some coffee, enjoy it with some friends and family, and I'm truly happy. Like that's what I can think of first.
Mine would be another Kindle. I love my Kindle. I think that's probably like the most use I've gotten out of a piece of technology in years, other than my phone. And I really want a colored one, and I feel like a colored one would just make me so much happier.
Nice. Well, and as we all learned at our retreat, you're a pretty voracious reader. I don't know if you want to share anything about that, Krystal, but I know that's a part of your story, at least.
I'm at 150 books so far this year, so got to keep going.
Yeah. So that's this year, and that's plus 6, I believe, from when we left Milwaukee a week and a half ago, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing. I admire that so much.
Yeah, so favorite place to visit?
So for me, I've have really good memories when I was in Southeast Asia. So to me, that will always be something very memorable. I got to learn some of the language there as well, so that was very helpful. And of course, I love a good beach in Costa Rica. So I would probably say those two.
My favorite place is my family has a cabin in Carmel Valley in California. It's near a winery. It's a very beautiful area. It's a private area, so we have like our own private swimming hole. and you sleep outside under the stars every night, and there's little to no bugs. It is my favorite place ever, and I try to go once a year, but it's a little difficult to get down there sometimes.
Yeah, no, we need to have like a company retreat there. It sounds like a perfect place for it.
Yeah.
There's no cell service. It's great.
Nice. That is great.
One more question. Best advice anybody ever gave you?
The best advice I ever got was at my previous job. I would talk on the phone, and I was told I sounded a little too monotone. So I was told to smile every time I'm on the phone. And so now I can no longer answer the phone without smiling, which I think it's good, especially because I'm talking to so many people that aren't angry at me. So having a person that's on the other line that's also not angry or grumpy at them kind of makes them, a delight to talk to. So yeah, every time, no matter even if I'm not at work or not, I will always answer the phone with a smile.
Well, that's fantastic. I change what's right over my shoulder for everyone, and this is my Ritz-Carlton bear. My wife was a training director at the Ritz in New Orleans, and so she would have a lot of positive things to say about you doing that and answering the phone that way.
I've been given a lot of advice over the years from some family, I feel like, since I have a large family. But I think one that sticks out is I always saw the benefit in making sure everyone feels included. So I try my best to think about that when I'm in big groups and make sure everyone feels a part of the team.
Yeah. Well, you both are so great at helping to set the environment for our clients and our team, and especially just having been able to spend time with you recently at our all company retreat. It's we're so grateful that you're here, and so yeah, hopefully it's been a fun place for you all to come and learn and be a part of, to learn and grow.
It's been great. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Well, everybody, thanks so much for joining us again today for an episode of Living Beyond the Numbers podcast. Please like, subscribe, comment, let us know any questions that you might have. You can reach me. I'm Jude at theplanningscenter.com. Caleb is Caleb at theplanningscenter.com. Krystal is with a K, Rystal at theplanningscenter.com. And Jenessa is Jenessa at theplanningscenter.com if you need to reach any of us for anything. Thanks again, and hopefully we'll see you on another episode soon of the Living Beyond the Numbers podcast.